The American manufacturer has decided to provide us with a hardcore version of the Camaro Zl1 1LE, but the model, for better or worse, is only putting up a racing suit, not a street hoodie. We're still fresh from the introduction of the toughest Camaro so far in existence, the Camaro Zl1 with the 1LE package. And now the Bodhi brand has managed to make us dream even more and also race to the closet to see if the racing suit and helmet still fit. This is because the hardcore Zl1 is a track-exclusive toy, dubbed Gt4R, a thoroughbred race car that will debut on a track at the Pirelli World Challenge this weekend in St. Petersburg, Florida. It belongs to the GTS class, but it's also ready to see action in the Grand Sport class of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge beginning with May at the Circuit of the Americas. The changes included a newly developed aerodynamic package, including a way larger rear wing than on the street version. Motivation is provided by the race-tweaked version of the naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8 engine from the Camaro SS, in tune with AN's track 6-speed sequential transmission. There's also AN's track racing limited slip differential, better Brembo brakes, and a set of Öhlins coilovers.
For the 2017 Geneva Auto Show, Chevrolet has trotted out a big, green, track-ready Camaro that isn't called a 1LE. It's called the Camaro Track Concept. It also has a different graphics package consisting of unique black stripes on the hood and roof. They're paired with a custom satin green paint job. These are just cosmetic differences, though. Mechanically, this Camaro Track is basically a US-spec Camaro SS1LE, which we've confirmed with Chevrolet is currently a vehicle exclusive to the US. It has the Fe4 suspension package from that car, as well as the Zl1, which includes magnetic shocks, and revised springs and sway bars. It also gets the SS1LE's electronically controlled limited slip differential, Brembo's 6-piston front brakes, and extra coolers for the engine, transmission, and differential. Even the tires are the same. At all four corners are Goodyear Eagle F1 supercar tires in the same widths as the 1LE. The only major difference is that this track concept has an 8-speed automatic transmission. In the States, all three levels of 1LE are exclusively manual. Inside, it features suede on the steering wheel and center console, comes with Recaro seats, and the pedals are aluminum. Outside it has a front splitter, side skirts, rear diffuser, and rear spoiler that also appear to be cribbed from the 1LE. Chevy also added black bow ties and smoke taillights that are available as Camaro accessories. According to Chevrolet, a number of the accessories on this car are US exclusive, but some of them will be available in Europe in the near future.
The modern auto industry is a never-ending deluge of boring crossovers and family-hauling SUVs. As such, I've come to appreciate the cars that wear their insanity on their sleeves. The Civic Type R does that. It's a mess of vents and scoops and strakes and wings and bumps and edges. It has 3 center-mounted exhausts, for crying out loud. No, it's not as tasteful and under the radar as its predecessors were. You didn't have a clue what those Type Rs were unless you knew where to look. But you know what? Car design has gotten more boring over the years. The Japanese auto industry isn't cranking out gull-winged K cars and triple-rotor super-luxury coupes these days. Do you really want your $30,000, 306 horsepower track-ready JDM super hatch to look conservative? I'm good with the craziness. Enjoy these photos, you may feel the same when you're done.
Fast Honda fans should be pretty excited if not terribly surprised at this. The production 2017 Honda Civic Type R, it's pictured here in Euro spec and is coming to the US in late spring. It'll be the first time we've ever gotten a Type R badged Honda, if you don't count the Acura branded Integra Type R, which is a special thing in its own right. Things get better from there. Under that NACA duct on the hood is a 2.0-liter, DOHC, direct injected, turbocharged, IVTEC inline-4 that makes 306 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. Random thought, if this car was released in the 1980s, every one of those engine features would be emblazoned in decal form on the rockers. The script would have to be tiny. Since that engine packs a turbo, the torque band is relatively low and flat. Peak torque is available from 2,500 to 4,500 RPMs. While the setup is new to Americans, it's fairly similar to the last-gen Euro-spec Civic Type R. Based on the gauges seen in the pictures, redline appears to be 7,000 RPMs, so unlike the peaky naturally aspirated Type RS of yore, you won't have to wind it up into the stratosphere to make power. That's probably a good thing for around town driving, and in every other situation it'll depend on your perspective and preferences. There's one very important thing to mention that the Civic Type R won't have: an automatic. This sucker's manual only, and that unit is a 6-speed job. Honda is including rev matching for when you don't want to blip for yourself, but the shifting will be a do-it-yourself operation. As far as handling is concerned, the Civic Type R combines a dual-axis strut setup from the last Type R, which reduces torque steer and improves handling, adaptive struts, and a tweaked electric power steering rack with variable assist. It wears 20-inch wheels shod with 20-inch Continental Conti Sport Contact 6 tires, and stops using Brembo 4-pot front rotors, 13.8-inch cross-drilled front rotors, and 12-inch rear rotors. Torsion rigidity is up, and weight is down slightly compared to a base 2017 Honda Civic hatchback, 15 pounds, which isn't shabby considering the turbo and plumbing add a not insignificant amount of weight. Current sporty vehicle tastes require selectable driving modes, so the Civic adopts them. There's Comfort, Sport, which is the default setting, in Plus R, which affects steering response, throttle mapping, rev matching settings, suspension settings, and stability control intervention. The only available trim is Touring, so the Civic Type R comes standard with a 7-inch touchscreen, nav, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a 540-watt sound system. The sport seats are standard, as is the leather-wrapped steering wheel, the leather shift boot, the aluminum shift knob and pedal set, and all the red accents you could possibly want in your most JDM dreams. While the new Civic Type R will be sold in the US, it'll be built in Honda's Swindon plant in the UK and imported. That'll be familiar to real Honda geeks as the source of the old EP3 generation Civic C hatchback of the early 2000s. Honda won't get too specific about pricing at this point, but expect an MSRP in the mid-$30,000 range. The Civic Type R will make its American debut at the New York Auto Show in April, which is probably very close to when it'll be available at dealers. We expect to see the car's American exterior, expect very minor changes, and finalized pricing and equipment. The long wait is over. Honda has finally taken the wraps off the new 2017 Civic Type R. Long anticipated by hot hatch fans, and notable for being the first Type R badged Honda to be offered officially in the US, the newest, hottest Civic doesn't stint on power or aggressive design. Indeed, it gets impressively close to Honda's previous Type R teasing concepts. That means big vents, angry red badging, a fairly huge rear wing, and suitably beefy wheels. Honda's changes are more than skin deep, mind. The body is 38% more torsionally rigid and 45% more bending right versus the old Type R, while an aluminum hood trims 15 pounds from the regular 10th generation Civic hatchback on which it's based. Meanwhile, there's a new 4-wheel adaptive suspension system with 3-chamber dampers, along with a new dual-axis front suspension setup with aluminum lower arms and steering knuckles to benefit high-speed cornering while also cutting torque steer. Honda gives the Civic Type R its own spring, damper, and bushing settings, and there's a retuned, adaptive electric power steering system with variable gear ratio. A helical limited slip front differential is installed, along with 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels with 240